Oh, wait. I am actually a little bit nervous, so I hope not. I'm not going to stutter, hopefully. So yeah, I am not really going to be talking about technology and chiropractic. I'm going to be talking about something really non-technological. We're going to be talking about words. And what my aim for today is to try and get you to think about the words that you use, how they actually shape the bigger picture of chiropractic to the people that you serve. We all know how vast the variety is of how the chiropractic principle is applied in practice. And all of these differences, they are really like a personification of the individuals who practice chiropractic. And that then together that in the environment that that chiropractic is expressed in. So this is your education system. This is where you went to chiropractic school, but this is also like the education you've had before chiropractic. This is the environment around it. So where you are based, the cultural values that there are in the place where your practice is based. This is the rules and regulations, what you're allowed to say and not allowed to say. So all of these different components and all of these aspects of practicing chiropractic, what we really want to do is have them to be congruent with how you want to practice chiropractic. Congruence, because we like to define our terms, congruence is the quality of being similar to or in agreement with something. I like to think of it as a puzzle. So you have many pieces of a puzzle, and the congruency of that puzzle, or how well you can see the picture that is to be displayed by the puzzle, is how well and how neatly these pieces fit together. If they fit together really well, the picture is super crystal clear. Same way with an old television back in the days where you had like this like pixels, and now you have like ultra 17, 8, full HD, etc. So that's where we want to get to today, to get a crystal clear picture of how you convey chiropractic to the people that you serve. Now applied to chiropractic, here's how I like to think about it. And we're going to break this down a little bit. It's a long sentence. So it's a continual process that requires time. So this is not a one-off checkbox that, hey, I'm congruent now, so that's it for the rest of my career. That's not how it works. It's a continual process in that it's an ongoing process, and that it kind of comes with phases. You have new insights, you're exposed to different ways of thinking, you get across different perspectives on the same chiropractic paradigm that you work in, and that requires for you sometimes to realign these pieces of the puzzle so they fit better together. It requires time and focused attention, so it is an active process. This is not something that somebody comes along, gives you a piece of paper, here you are. That's not how it works. It's for you to do the process. The focused attention, it required together with the time, it's to details. Now the detail is very context specific, and for the purpose of this talk today, we're going to be talking about what comes out of your mouth, the words you choose, but also the words that your CAs choose, the words that your clients or practice members or patients use. Now this process ultimately allows you to gain a deeper awareness. So it allows you, it's an opportunity for you, if you take this on, to know where you're at, to know where you're standing, to see how sound is, the soundness, the way that you express the chiropractic paradigm. The sounder you express the chiropractic paradigm, the more neatly the pieces of the puzzle fit together, the clearer the picture, and perhaps and hopefully the person that you try to get this message across will understand it easier. Because that's in the end of the day is what we're aiming for today. And then the chiropractic paradigm. Now we can talk about this for hours and hours and hours. Let's keep it simple. I'm going to give you a very specific worldview of the chiropractic paradigm, which is there is an innate intelligence that expresses through us, and constantly always strives for the best possible solutions for your body in health or in disease. Now, the role of the chiropractor is to, and then there is the subluxation, and the subluxation interferes with this ability of your body to express its innate intelligence. Now, the role of a chiropractor is to address this subluxation regardless of the state of health or disease that the person is in. So this is a very specific worldview that influences or informs a very specific practice. So what I want you to think for yourself is, what is your worldview on chiropractic and how influences or informs that your practice? In simpler words, what do you think of something? The way that you think of something affects the way that you act in relation to that something. So the way that you look at chiropractic, the way that you think of chiropractic, affects the way that you practice chiropractic. But then if we switch roles and we think about other people that are in the practice, so the way that your CA thinks of something is the way that your CA is going to act in relation to that something. The way that your client thinks of something affects the way that your client thinks of chiropractic care is going to affect the way that they are going to act whilst being under care. As an exercise, you can kind of like take the word you, put it in between brackets, and fill in the blanks for yourself. The same thing you're going to do with something. This is a really cool tool to see what's really going on. If you fill in the blanks for yourself, you can use either the way that somebody thinks of something or the way that somebody acts in relating to that something. You can try to figure out really what's coming across. For example, the way that your client thinks of chiropractic care affects the way that your client acts around chiropractic care. Do they think of chiropractic care as a problem, as a solution to their problem? Do they think of chiropractic care as a treatment to their low back pain? How is that going to affect the way when they're going to come into your office? By looking at when people come into your office and looking at how people prioritize care by booking all of their next year of visits in advance, is going to give you a really clear view of how they really think of it. So I want you to take that home, and again later on in the presentation, I want you to think of that as a way to kind of like assess or evaluate things. So those different perspectives are really, really interesting. And what I think that's most interesting is that the differences that can come across here, really that's where's the value. These differences either can give you that opportunity to grow, opportunity to give them something else that maybe makes them see things differently, and especially for you to gain a better understanding of where you are at, to gain a better understanding of your understanding of the thing that we are trying to profess. So there's many pieces of the chiropractic puzzle. Again, this list is small, and there are so many other things that should be on a list like this. But then the analogy of the puzzle has its fallacies, because that picture that we talk about when it comes to chiropractic, that's not a 2D picture. Nor are the demarcations of each component that clear that you can actually fit them together. They're all interwoven, and everything kind of like is messed up in reality. We kind of like pull them apart because that's how we can talk about them, how we can think about them, how we can make solutions for such things. Think of it as Stevenson's textbook. He doesn't just have one textbook, and here you have chiropractic. He starts with the freshman's text. From the freshman, he goes into sophomore. From junior, he goes into the senior. So there's different depth and to the meaning of what really chiropractic is about. The same thing is in care. It is not the same for somebody that walks in your office the first day, how you explain chiropractic, to somebody who has been there for 10 years with you. So it's almost, different layers added on top of each other. So that's all the theory. For now, for the practice, let's see how we can talk about the terminology that we use and how we can make that more congruent. These are things that we can talk about so many different words, but let's start with the ones that probably you use the most. So how do you refer to yourself? How do you refer to yourself as? Who are you? How does your CA introduce you to your clients or to your prospect? What's the name that's on your name tag? What comes in front? Is there something else? Is it your first name, your last name? Is there some title in there? What does it say on your website? You can talk to yourself in many different ways. You can say, oh, I'm a doctor or a doctor of chiropraktic. I'm a chiropractor. Some people may see you as a healer. Some other people, maybe the local GC, may see you as an alternative medicine professional practitioner. There's consequences that come with each word and what comes with these words, because words have baggage. Other people, they may form different pictures when they hear specific words. So you have to know who's your audience. A kid, when he thinks of, oh, I'm going to see a doctor, might think of syringes and like scary stuff. Like I'm from Holland, even though I have the Greek flag with me. I'm not a Greek citizen. I work there, but hey, let's see what's going to happen. In Holland, we are pretty much down to earth. Yeah, we like to keep things simple, or keep it like our feet on the floor. And when we think of as a healer, I can think of my dad as how he thinks of a healer. He might think of that Indian. And who hasn't, like been talked about, like Alan from 2.5 Men? Oh, there we go. So there's baggage when it comes to terms, but then there's even a more depth to that meaning of those words. Because when you go to a healer, who does the healing? Is it the person that puts their hands on, or is it actually what the body does with, like whatever is being done with those hands? In our philosophy, there's a very specific understanding of what's going on in that interaction. If you go to a doctor, when do you usually go to a doctor? When you have some sort of a problem. What does the doctor tell you that you go into his office and you say, well, I don't have a problem? If you go to a specialist, because that sounds really cool if you're a specialist, but if you go to a specialist, or if a layperson goes to a specialist, they usually come with their problem and they say, here you go. Please, can you fix it for me? Is that how your view of the relationship that you create with them, is that congruent? If you think of them as equal partners, hey, I do something, you have to do something too, and we kind of make it work together, then if they don't think in that way, that's going to be difficult. Congruence is not just to be nitpicky about, like being politically or philosophically or whatever perfect or correct. It's about how we can actually make life easier and work with the clients or patients or practice members in the way that you want to. If somebody thinks of going to see a chiropractor as something that you do when you have pain, for whatever pain, but then also comes across somebody that has been seeing you for a long time and thinks that when you start going to a chiropractor, you always have to go to a chiropractor, that kind of clashes with their worldview. That doesn't fit into their box. Why should I go and see you always if sometimes I don't have a problem? This is called a contradiction, and we'll come back to that later. Like if we keep talking about these different things and we can use different perspectives, if that person thinks of, you telling them that you always have to come, and forget that it's their choice, to be there, those are all nuances that are really, really important for the overall, result. how do you refer to the people that you serve? Who are they to you? When do they come in to see you? When do you want to come in to see you? Does the word that you have for them correspond or is appropriate for the worldview that you have of them? Do you see them as a customer? Is it a one-off? Okay, you buy my product and off you go. Hopefully you come and buy something else later. Is it the client? Do you create a long-standing relationship with them? Are they a practice member? Are they your tribe? To be really clear, I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. This is not like a judgment thing from me towards you. This is me trying to encourage you to pick the words that most appropriately reflect on how you want to come across and how you want chiropractic to come across. This is when it comes to this, and when now I talk about the words that you use. Think of how the words that they use regarding them, and in what kind of like overall environment that's situated in. What kind of cultural values come with this? What's the language in which you use these words? Because most of the people here, they work in different languages. With different languages come different challenges. But also with these challenges come opportunities. We have stopped using patients for many different reasons, but in Greek, the word patient is asthenis. So asthenis comes from the word sthenos, which means strength. That's literally a person without strength. Or a person with asthenia, which is sickness or illness. When you use that understanding that come from the different terminologies and the different vocabulary, and when you try and figure out how do they really think of themselves as in relationship to you, you can come up with, they will tell you. They won't tell you straight away in your face, but they will hide it in their statements or questions. So if I wouldn't be in a bad shape, I wouldn't need to be here. That's a classic thing that people say when they meet somebody they know in the office and say, hey, how are you? Well, I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't be in a bad shape. Is that the message you want to come across? If you pick that up, then you have a responsibility to do something with it. On another term, when they see a newborn baby, that might not fit in their box of what they have expected from you because of their specific worldview, which is an anomaly, which is a violation of that expectation that comes with that worldview. An anomaly is a piece of the puzzle that doesn't fit in the puzzle that they have created so far. If that's one small little piece, they might be able to ignore it. But if that becomes many different things, that kind of rousing a paradigm shift. That's when they start to change. There's a major change in the way that they view or the way that they practice something specific. And then the something specific here is chiropractic care. For that person that is coming in and say, hey, well, if I wouldn't be here if I would be in a bad state, that is sometimes difficult to come back from. You can have posters around the wall, like we expect posters to see like this, like our faces and, like the people that are speaking, because that's, fits in the worldview of, hey, we're going to look to a symposium, to a conference, and we're going to see specific people. What do people expect when they come in the chiropractic office? They expect to see pictures of spines, muscles, maybe even the nervous system. But if you have a poster that is up there, which they don't expect, or something that's on there that they don't expect, you are triggering or unoffensively arousing them or inviting them to start to see things differently. If that person that comes in and that says, hey, I wouldn't be here if I would be in a bad shape, if that person then the other person says, hey, well, you don't need to be sick in order to take care of your health. That's that's gold. I'm going to have to speed up a little bit, so I'm going to go quick. What do you do? Do you manipulate or do you adjust? You know, for the person, with all social media being about adjusting and about cracking, now think that they have associated you with that cracking thing, the manipulation makes a cracking sound, as does the adjustment. So how do you counter that? People don't really want to be wrong, but if you really want to make that change, you have to do something. Try to understand the person that's coming with that argument, which may not be correct, make that stronger, and try and help them see how that can be different. Contradictions may confuse your practice members and obstruct them from understanding nuanced yet important philosophical distinction between chiropractic and other approaches. We talked about the contradiction, a clash of what's going on. They are the opportunities for raising your own congruence. For example, the adjustment is not an easy term to translate to Dutch. So it's been translated, for some people, as a correction. Do we make the correction? Or does the person, the innate intelligence of that person, make the correction? How important is that? How important is it to communicate that with your people? What other consequences are there down the line? So now I'm going to skip through. What I want to say is there's many different words that you can come across. Many different things, many different concepts that need clarifying. Don't get me wrong, I am not to say which one is right, but we have a very specific terminology that we use. We made a glossary so that everybody in our office, us included, we use it consciously and consistently. The CAs, the people that organize our social media, etc. So I encourage you to sit down with your staff or first by yourself to figure out, hey, which are the words I'm using and why I'm using them. Vocalizing chiropractic is just as evolving as is your chiropractic technique. Each new influence, each new insight will push you to get better. It's really important that with the liberty of choosing the words that you choose comes a great responsibility. As Andrew said, that hey, well, it's up to you. Like the people, it's at that moment of leadership. It comes for me in this point of choosing the right words, so that the people that are under care know what they're in for. I hope you had fun. Thank you.